So, I have seen and been asked over and over, announcer of games, how do I get into Warhammer 40k? Now, the answer isn't that simple, because everyone comes to 40k for very different reasons. So today, I'm going to go through each and every way that you can get into Warhammer. So that way the voices will stop yelling at me.
Why does this keep happening? No, please, get these out of here! No!
So, one of the easiest ways to start your Warhammer adventure is the books. Now, there are a lot of 40k books, and I do understand that the idea of reading all of them does not sound appealing to anyone. However, the best parts of Warhammer is that most of its stories are self-contained. Then, what book should you start with? Again, that depends on your taste, but I have managed to narrow it down for a lot of people. So, here. If you want a Space Marine book, well, it's pretty much 60% of 40k's catalog, so it really comes down to what flavor of Marines that you want. So pick a cover that looks good to you and take your shot. But if I had to recommend some... Soul Drinkers is a series of books focusing on a single Space Marine chapter of the same name, who go renegade but still remain loyal to humanity. Dark Imperium is a book where you and the main character, Robu Gulliman, jump into the 41st millennium together and slowly learn it together. The Lion, Son of the Forest is a book catching up to where 40k is right now, using a character known as Lionel Johnson, also jumping into modern 40k. However, what if we want just regular human stories? Well, 40k has plenty of books for that, ranging from mystery novels to horror books to massive battle books to smaller character stories. Kaifus Kane, Hero of the Imperium, a book about a no-nonsense commissar who just wants to get from point A to point B with as little bullshit as possible. More of an action comedy series of books that are really easy to get into. Assassinorum Kingmaker, a book focusing on a team of two assassins working together to kill a noble so that an important planet doesn't leave the Imperium. A fun and wild ride for newcomers. The Sisters of Battle Omnibus, a collection of stories focused on the Sisters of Battle, getting a very clear and deep look to how the Sisters function and work within the Imperium. Belisarius Call, The Great Work, another way to jump into the modern day of 40k from the steampunk part of 40k, focusing on Belisarius Call and his work on the new Primaris Marines. But what if we don't want humans? Well, we have plenty of non-human faction books.
Fucking why?
There is a 40k book out there for everyone, whether you want to read about super soldiers, regular everyday people, aliens, or basically anything that you can think of. 40k has done it. The Black Library website also has a Get Started reading list, which has a good selection of books to start and read, as well as telling you if it's a physical copy, ebook, or audiobook. Now that we are done with the books, let's move on to...
So you got incredibly depressed over the announcement of a game.
So, 40k and video games have a very interesting relationship. Games ranging from quick cash grabs to being meh, just okay, or being quite excellent. So, what game should you, a newbie, try? Well, for our first-person shooter fans, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun is a good and fun take of a boomer shooter with a 40k aesthetic. It isn't perfect, but it is a fun 6 to 7 hour experience. RTS games eat very well with 40k. There is the Dawn of War series, an RTS series of games with the first game and its expansions being aggressive base builder games. Dawn of War 2 took a more squad-based RPG take on the RTS style, and the third game had a strange mix of both mechanics. But if Dawn of War isn't your cup of tea, we also got Mechanicus, which is an XCOM-style RTS game that allows you to set the difficulty and pace of the game, letting anyone get into it regardless of ability. Then there's the famous Warhammer 40k Space Marine, a fun third-person hack and slasher. It's a very simple story and game that anyone can try and experience. It will kick your ass, however, but it tries to be authentic to the universe while still being a fun game. And it's getting a sequel in the fall of 2024, and I am excited for it. Now, for our RPG fans, we got Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, a game where you have a massive amount of freedom to interact with the 40k universe as you see fit, made by the same people who made the Pathfinder games. So you are getting good quality with this game, aside from the bugs on release.
Join the occult, Dad!
Okay, so 40k has quite a few tabletop games, and some cross over and interact with each other, and some do not, which leads to a lot of people being confused on where to start. Not only that, but the major complaint and joke about Warhammer is that it is expensive as fuck. Which, yes it is. Welcome to the hobby. The main tabletop game is Warhammer 40k itself. It has a wide range of armies to pick from, ranging from the jack-of-all-trades Space Marines, the fast and sleek Eldar, the anime-influenced Tau Empire, and the funny Mad Max joke with orcs. Picking one faction comes down to what you find personally cool, and it is very easy to look up the factions in general fluff online and get a rough idea of what they are. Then, it's just buying a single combat patrol box, which usually is a good buy as you are buying the price of 2 normal-size boxes, but getting enough models to make up 3 or 4 boxes, depending on which one you get. Sometimes Games Workshop releases massive boxes that, yes, at face value are very expensive, but are in reality a massive sale. The current Chaos Space Marine box, as of this script's writing, is priced at $280 Canadian, but putting the price of every unit in this box together was $418 Canadian, actual cost, making it a good price for an army that is ready to go once you build it. This helps mitigate the price of 40k a bit, but I will always say, do not splurge into 40k. Take your time and pace yourself with it. However, a must-buy if you want to play the game of 40k is your army's book called a Codex. These books contain your army's fluff and rules to play the faction. Now, not every army as of this video's upload has their Codex yet, but currently has a free downloadable PDF with their army's generic rules, letting you experience the army for yourself and see if they fit your playstyle. But then, there are other tabletop games, like Kill Team and Horus Heresy. Kill Team is more accessible, as you can take your squads from 40k and use them in smaller squad-on-squad games. Horus Heresy, however, is a remastered version of previous rule sets that Warhammer 40k used, with a much more complicated system that also limits down the playable factions, as Horus Heresy is a more historical game. The armies available in Horus Heresy are Space Marines, Imperial Guard, Custodes, Mechanicus, Knights, and Demons. As well, a game of Horus Heresy is much larger than a standard game of 40k, which in 40k, the same amount of points for the large game of 40k is the smallest game of Horus Heresy. I do not recommend Horus Heresy as your introduction to tabletop gaming, but if you like 40k and want to give Horus Heresy a shot, it is an incredible box set to start with, and gives you everything you need to start playing. However, if you don't want to play the games and simply want to build and paint the models, that is also okay. Most paints work on 40k models, and there are plenty of videos and guides on how to build, customize, and make your own. But what if you want to roleplay within the 40k universe? Well, there are currently 2 pre-built systems you can get. There is the Fantasy Flight series, which is a percentile system, meaning you roll nothing but 10-sided dice to decide the outcomes of things. There is also Wrath and Glory, a d6 system that, although I haven't been able to play myself, others have said it is fun, even if it's a little hard. This gives you plenty of options to spice up your D&D nights. Also, just want to make a quick note because I forgot to write down the script. There is a game mode within the Warhammer 40k tabletop game called Crusade Mode, which essentially is you and your friends plan out a D&D campaign, but instead of just like your individual characters, it's your armies with your own named characters that slowly upgrade over time. It's very much meant to be a fun crazy ass game mode that you and your friends can enjoy, and just like continue your own kind of style of narrative that you all can just enjoy and play in at your own pace.
Look, Pim, I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
I hope this has been a comprehensive guide on where to start so you can get into Warhammer 40k. The universe is massive, and you aren't expected to know everything. It is a sandbox at the end of the day that will change its rules, facts, and fluff on a dime if it means they can squeeze in just a few more models into the game. So have fun, explore as deep as you want, and just remember, the 40k community in general is a great place. If you want some fun YouTubers to listen to, here's a list that I recommend for you to sub to and watch on YouTube. Now, would you excuse me? I have to get back to the Halo 2 retrospective. Nurgle really fucked me up last week to show his appreciation for the Death Guard video, so I have to get back on that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what your favorite army or thing in 40k is, or what got you interested. I'd love to read them. See you next time, everybody.